Hi, my name is Cameron Liu. Right now I do music and video professionally under the name of Ginger Root, and I graduated the year of 2014. Mentors. The program's had a lot of mentors. I think every single staff member had something special to bring depending on the student. And so I know for me personally, Mike Simmons and Jamie Knight, when Jamie Knight used to run the program, Mike Simmons is still here. They really helped me kind of develop, I think, who I am as a musician, introduced me to a whole lot of skill sets, but not only skill sets, but like really cool music, when I was in high school. And that alone, I think, really helped me figure out my own music identity today. So I have Jamie Knight and Mike Simmons to thank. I think looking back, one of my favorite shows to be a part of, at least when I was in MMET Pop, was probably the Soul and Funk show we did. I think that was my junior year, I can't remember. I think it was a lot of fun because that music, I think, is the root of kind of the music I still perform today with my own band, Ginger Root. And that show was just full of so many memories of not only playing songs that I grew up listening to, but also playing songs that I never heard before that were just killer and still are constantly repeating in my head today. The Soul and Funk show really was a big influence when I was here. I think every show in general really has impacted what I do nowadays in a good way. I learned kind of trial by fire on how to perform in front of people, how to learn parts, how to distribute parts, how to be a team player when it comes to playing in a group and stuff. So all those fundamentals of playing music in front of a live audience to a crowd that may or may not know your music or may or may not be interested in what you do, I think all those skills definitely came from being in MMET and being part of the program. And so without that, it definitely would have been a very different story with doing music and video professionally nowadays. Still to this day, I frequently collaborate with APA alumni. The people who play in my band are APA alumni: Matthew Carney, Dylan Hovis. The people who help me out making videos and doing video production: David Gittell, Taylor Nicholson, Michael Keane, as well as to the front line of defense of any indie band, front of house technician like Jimmy Hua. We all came from the same program. I have so many people that I still collaborate with that we've all gone through this program, different years, yeah, and everything, but one thing remains the same, is that, our love for music and our love for creating is what keeps us together. And it just so happens that, yeah, we all went through APA, we all went through MMET, in fact, and that alone, is a big enough bond to, allow us to continue working so well together. So, yeah, I owe this program a lot, thinking about it. Matt, then the year after it's Dylan, then 2 years later then it's me, then 4 years later it's David, then 5 years later it's Jimmy. It's weird. Our touring party is crazy. We all went through the program, but we're all different years. We all kind of knew what we did. The funny thing is that I think I only really interacted with David in the program constantly, and then it wasn't until senior year or even after I graduated when we started talking and doing stuff wild, all still together. And we've played, I don't know, we've done, almost 10 international tours, US tours, played at least, 300 shows together. It's insane. It's pretty rowdy. The crowd's really diverse, which is actually interesting. There's a ton of older people, older than me, who, is like, man, I didn't know you like Steely Dan and that type of stuff. And then there's actually a surprising amount of people, like families, who bring their kids that are 9, and they're like, this is my first concert, sign my son's drawing of you. It's really sweet. It's also very diverse, which is really cool. People of all different backgrounds, all different races, ethnicities. That's really cool to see in every city. So it's not just geographically, one type of people. Every show is kind of the same amount of crowd in terms of how different everyone is. It's cool. It's actually literally what I could hope for. Back in APA, I think obviously there was countless of just techniques and opportunities that I was granted and, had the opportunity to seize and to try and also to fail. And from that I learned a lot. I think how to be a leader, I think, really was the thing that I got to try and fail while I was here. I think that's really important when you have a team of people, let alone a team of your friends, that you've met in the program, how to best make sure everyone's heard, how to check in with everyone, how to make sure, everyone's having a good time and everyone wants to be there and everyone wants to show up and have a good attitude, but also at the end of the day, how to guide everyone to have the project succeed in the best way possible. I think that's something that I had a very rare opportunity to do in a program that's from a high school. And so I think that was one of the things that APA, really provided for me, is that environment to test the waters on, can I be a leader? Am I a leader? But also, can I also be a team player? Because part of being a leader too is showing up and doing your part and leading by example. And I think APA really provided a unique environment for not just me, but I know a ton of other students that you may or may not see in this video share and talk about. So I think in some of the students' cases, when they were part of two programs, whether it was like tech and theater, or for example, for me, for like MMT Pop and MMT TV and the video program and everything, I think what was really interesting about that opportunity is you kind of have to understand what goes into both sides of the camera, or both sides of the microphone, or both sides. If you're a performer, you have to understand that a camera's there and that people are watching via a screen, so how to accommodate for that, for your performance. And then on the other side, you have to realize as a video person that you have to have a basic knowledge of instruments and music and rhythm and timing, and also performance. I remember there's clips, probably, if you could dig up some type of B-roll, of you would see the technical directors directing the show or the camera people dancing along with the music, and they're in their own world participating and kind of trying to connect with what they do, which is video, with what the performer is doing, whether that's a guitar solo, guitarist, or a singer's hitting a high note. So I think being in both programs essentially opened my understanding of what has to go into a show's operation. Technical side, performance side, getting ready, mentally preparing, and also like preparation just from a technical standpoint on how to coil a cable, how, what's your channel workflow in terms of like where audio goes, where video goes. It's very similar, it all gets piped into all these different cables and all these different ports or whatever. There's a lot of similarities I found out. There are things that I've learned coming through the music program that helped me develop my own style and own preference on how I want to work in the video world, and vice versa. And so I think any student too that had that opportunity of being in two programs, it was super beneficial of learning a skill in a different environment and taking that, remixing it into the other program that they're involved in, creating a whole new set of skills. So super beneficial, super lucky that I was able to do that. Super stressful looking back on it, but I wouldn't have traded it for the world. So with being, a foot in both worlds with both music and video in my case specifically, when I took those skills into what I do now with my own project, what was really interesting is that when I have the music hat on and I'm making the music, I have this weird subconscious feeling about how I'm going to portray it visually when it comes about, and vice versa too. When I'm editing, I'm very constantly aware of the flow of the story and the editing from a musical standpoint, and I would not have that knowledge on it going both ways if I wasn't part of those two programs. And so when I'm writing a song, I'm thinking of videos, I'm writing a song, and if I didn't have that experience, if I didn't have that unique experience of being part of two programs simultaneously, I would have no clue, or let alone any idea, how to both portray, my message as an artist, both visually and audibly at the same time. I just would not have any concept about doing that. Maybe not till later, but it was a huge leg up and a huge, crazy, lucky opportunity, and a very grateful. Just to have that skill set is priceless. It's funny, I've done several interviews coming back and talking about APA and talking about MMET, and also some people I meet still to this day when I'm out touring, and they're like, when did you guys meet, for example, or like, how'd you meet your bassist or your drummer or your front of house person? I tell them that we all met through APA, and they're like, well, what's that? And I tell them it's this crazy high school program, and the program that I was in was kind of like like a souped up school of rock, to be completely honest. Every time I talk to someone that asks me that question, how did we all meet and how'd you get your start? When I tell them about APA, I always say that if I didn't go through this program, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to just learn by doing. The best thing that I have taken away from my time being a part of the APA program, I think is that APA has really provided the environment to learn, to succeed, and to fail in way of providing an opportunity to really understand the fundamentals of whatever program you're in. It's a weird, expensive, but very fruitful, it's a very weird playground, I feel like APA is. And with that, it's a time to figure out just who you are as a student, as a person, as a performer, as a technician, as a director, as a playwright, as a dancer. Whatever program the student went through, I think everyone has the same opinion that APA has provided a space to learn the fundamentals of how to be a professional. Whether that means technically learning your skills in a profession, whether that's learning soft skills like leadership or communication within whatever, retrospectively speaking, in whatever program the student might be a part of. I think APA has really provided an environment to foster and to learn and to be curious. And a big thing that I learned while going through the program, and I still remember, is like, this program is what you would put into it. And so I can guarantee you that all the students that have probably appeared in this video, they put a lot into this program, and man, did they get a whole lot out of it. For me personally, I think the biggest impact that I've gotten from my career, having gone through APA, I think is just the experience at a high school age. That's one of those things that I will be ever grateful, to the program. I'm Cameron Liu, and I'm an APA alumni.